Hey guys, Zero back again. Another Warhammer Wednesday. I just picked these guys up, or rather they just got to me in the mail. Hopefully this will be the last box of squad troop guys I'm gonna get, which, yeah, take that with a grain of salt, man, because the more and more I say I'm gonna stop collecting these figures, the more and more GW keeps putting out phenomenal models, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. But we're gonna take a quick look at the new Chaos Space Marine box set for Warhammer 40k. This is a redesigned model kit. The last Space Marines, I want to say, were updated in like the early 2000s, and they have not been since then. So finally, rather no, the mid 2000s, because Dark Vengeance came out with a set of Space Marine Chosen and a Lord and a Hellbrute, and it was redesigned completely, and it had a really cool Baroque armor, antique looking armor. Excuse me. So they redesigned the standard Chaos Space Marines, gave them a little bit of variety with weapons and stuff like that. Not too much, but we're going to take a quick look at this at the table. And so I bought the box because I wanted to, I bought the Shadow Spear half of the Chaos Army from the new box set. And those guys, the warriors that came in there, are monopose, and there's 4 guys or 5 guys with close combat weapons, and then 5 guys with bolters. And I want to kind of fill those squads out. I don't want half and half, because when you're playing the game, you know, it seems cool and it looks cool, but when you're playing, you have to really do a lot more math just to kind of, okay, these guys got swords, okay, these guys got bolt pistols, these guys got bolt rifles. I would rather just the whole squad be armed closely the same, minus your special weapons or your heavy weapons, than have them all mismatched, because now you've got close combat weapons, heavy weapons, special weapon, bolt guns. You know what I mean? It's just too frustrating, and you know, to go through that. But anyway, we're gonna get a look at these guys at the table, and hopefully I'll be impressed like I was with the Havocs. Maybe you will too. I don't know if you haven't gotten these guys. We'll see together whether or not they were worth the $50 that they charge for these models now. $50 for 10 models. It's a lot. I mean, I know they're detailed. They're a little bigger than normal Chaos guys too, because they, you know, that size creep that GW is doing with their models now. But $50. I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys. Sit tight. All right. Let's take a quick look at these guys. So you get a 10-man squad. And it looks like you get enough to give them a special weapon and a heavy weapon, and obviously a champion. I kind of like this. This was something cool that they did. Let me zoom in for you guys a little bit. Let's take a look here. I like that they did this. They actually put the Marines on the board, but they put them in the different chapters, colors, you know, which is really cool. You know, the Alpha Legion, you know, the Night Lords. It's cool. The Iron Warriors, Black Legion. Where are these guys? Word Bearers, of course. But you know, it's cool. You can add them to whatever faction you want, and I'm sure the Standard Bearer, if there is one, has a standard based on whatever patron they're from, or you know, usually that's what these kits will come with. Will come with extra bits to give them that patron connection. I'm going to paint these guys as Black Legion because I picked up the Shadow Spear box set, and I'm going to be picking up a Lord Discordant, and I really want the Abaddon figure. I think it's a really good looking representation of that guy. I never liked the original one. I had him somewhere, and I know it fell to pieces, and I just never put it back together, and it lost in time. But the new Abaddon is just more proportionate, more accurate, more artistic based. Like, it looks like the big painting that they've always had of him, and it's a beautiful model. So I figured, well, I have Crimson Slaughter, which I could totally add these guys to. I have Thousand Suns, I have Death Guard, you know, Death Guard being my primary I didn't want to add these guys to the Death Guard because they just, you know, they don't look like Death Guard. But, you know, the Black Legion, why not? I mean, I guess I could just throw them in there. I mean, they don't, it's not like they have huge, I mean, they've got some faction rules, which is cool, but as a huge Apocalypse army, it's not going to really matter much. They're just going to be troops. So you got the back of the box with the paint palettes here. Nice big paint palette too for all the different factions that you're going to paint them as. You've got your legal stuff down here. Your champion there, I think that's a champion or a standard bearer or something. Here's the top of the box. And then the other side, which is just the 2 Marines. Alright, so let's go on ahead and crack this open. You get a rocket launcher too, so that's kind of cool. That's awesome, because the first unit, or the first original box set, only came with a heavy bolter, and I kind of didn't like that because it was like they actually had way more options, like heavy. They had a heavy bolter, they had auto cannons, they had missile launchers, and I think they had las cannons. But the kit never came with those, so either you had the kit bash from Devastator Squad, or you just didn't have that in your army, you know. So I went out and bought like autocannons from Forge World, you know, thinking I could add them to my guys, and you know, I did that, but then it looks funny, you know what I mean? So it's cool that these guys are coming with more equipment. Just, you know, Games Workshop's got to make sure that they keep bringing that, giving you the options for war gear, you know what I mean? If you're going to give me an option in a book, but then not give it to me in the miniatures, what's the point? I'm not even going to buy it, you know? So now I got to go buy 2 kits to go and convert one. That's just my little rant. Alright. We got some good stuff here. Let's take a look here at the rule book first. Not the rule book, the instruction manual. You got your cool color, just like GW, the new books with the color, which is the gray, the blue, and the yellow. Yellow being where you glue, blue being the pieces that are going on. Then your optional pieces here, which is really cool. Wow, there's a lot of shoulder pads. Wow, and heads too. Wow, that's cool. Cool. I like that, because as it is, my army so far, most of the squads are unique to that squad. Like, I don't have double squads, except for, I want to say, the Forge World Death Guard conversion kit. I actually put it on some of the Marines, and I have that. I have 2 squads of those guys. So yeah, there's actually a repeat in there somewhere. But I tried not to repeat most of the squads. You know, and as the original kits, the multi-part kits, you can build them however you want. So I tried to keep them as separated as possible too, you know, so that they wouldn't all mush together and just be one big chaos glob. But that's me, you know. Some people don't care. It's just numbers on a table for them, which is fine. That's what this game is all about. This hobby allows for all of that. You got your backpacks, and then you've got your rules, you know, with all the different languages. All right. Hang on one second, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look here. We got the decal sheet, and this is the new Chaos decal sheet. So you're looking at, you know, Black Legion, Alpha Legion, Thousand Sons, Iron Warriors, Word Bearers. I can't remember what these guys are. Night Lords. Haha. So same thing that's on the cover of the box. These are pretty cool. I mean, I think I said this before. I don't know if I'm going to use these. Maybe on some of the Thousand Sons, because I do have some. Or maybe, you know, if I can get some Crimson Slaughter ones, I'll use those. Just a little white skull with little black wings around it, or horns or something like that. But it's real simple, you know. I could probably recreate that with drawing. We've got our bases, 32 mil. I do like that they're packing them in a bag, because I hated when you got these boxes and they're all loose in there. I mean, it's not that it hurt anything because it's saran wrapped or whatever, but cool. We got our 32 mil bases. We're going to scratch those up pretty good. And here we have our first sprue. We'll take a look at this a little closer. for you guys. There we go. Looks like we've got arms. There's some special weapons there. We've got a power axe, which is cool. We've got some torso bits, which is cool. And yeah, arms with bolt guns and arms with bolt pistols, which is cool. An arm with a dagger. Yeah, and some torsos and loincloths. So here we'll do this so you guys can get a good look at that. Hopefully this shows up on the camera pretty good. I should have done this on the black background. I don't know why I keep saying that and I keep not doing it. I apologize, guys. Zero's being a dick. Sorry. It's pretty cool. I like that this sprue is completely covered. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it is completely wall-to-wall covered with bits, and I love that. I love that there's very little unused space on these sprues. It's way to go, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're not going to use all those options. Most of these guys are monoposed, you know, for the most part. But the bottom line is, you know, you're paying for the amount of plastic. Well, okay, let me rephrase. It feels like you're paying more for the amount of plastic than the contents of the box, right? Like, back in the day when they charged their point values for pricing, it was weird because it was like, you know, you had a box of 5 guys, like a tactical squad, right? And those guys came with, you know, or 10 guys, right? Let's say 10 tactical guys for $20. Those guys came with a heavy weapon and a special weapon and a sergeant, right? And a banner bearer. Like, you could make a banner bearer, like, you know, put something on his back or whatever. And then, you know, they would release a special character in Terminator armor, and that guy was $20. And it was like, wait a minute. And then they would release another. Well, they released like a chaplain. He'd be like $20 in Terminator armor. Then they released a special character like Logan Grimnar in Terminator armor, and he was $45. And it's like, what the fuck? The chaplain and Logan Grimnar were the same size, same weight in metal. You know, they were the same sprue or blister or whatever it was that they came in. But the motherfuckers cost twice the cost because he's a special character. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, it's because in statistics, as a game piece, not as a model, but as a game piece, he's more valuable on the table. And that's how it went. Like, the more value a model had on the table with statistics, the more expensive it got for GW's pricing. And that's just the way it was. Like, that's just what they did, right? Like, so a squad of guys would be the same cost as one tank, you know, or the tank would be more expensive because the tank had more value on the table per capita than the guys, if I'm using that phrase correctly. But nonetheless, you know, they still have high prices, you know what I mean? They're still, these prices are still high in my opinion, but still somewhat affordable. You know, it's not like we can't afford them, right? Because otherwise they would be out of business. And they're the biggest business in the game right now. I mean, Privateer Press came really close a little while ago, a couple years ago. They were real close, but they don't have the magnitude of creation that Games Workshop has. They don't have the capacity to build and produce as much as Games Workshop does. You know, they can try, and I do like their stuff, but nowhere near as much. So on this sprue, we're looking at, there's a chaos symbol there. There's the heavy bolter, there's chain swords, power sword, rocket launcher, more bits for the rocket launcher, more arms, backpacks, which is cool. Yeah, very, very cool. And a lot of little chaosy bits to go on the backpacks and stuff like that. I like that. I like that, you know, you're getting stuff to adorn your models with, make them a little bit, you know, more different. I guess if you were to look at a tactical squad for Space Marines right now, or let's just say the Intercessor Squad box set, which is probably the same cost. I think it's like $10 less, maybe. You know, I don't know. Let me take a look. I'm gonna look on eBay real quick and just kind of gauge what the prices are for these models, because, you know, it bothers me that, yeah, they're about the same price, $50. Let's see. Let's take a quick look at the Chaos. Space Marine, there you guys are. Alright, so yeah, they're about $50 a piece. So they're on par with the Intercessor Space Marines, which is cool. That's it gives me some sense of like, okay, I'm not paying more than the Space Marine player is, because back in the day, Space Marine players would, you know, Chaos players would pay more for their squad of Chaos guys than you would for a squad of Marines. And it was like, the excuse was, same thing with the Rhinos and the Predators and the Land Raiders, because it was like, oh, well, you're getting an extra sprue of Chaosy bits, you know, that you can put on your model. And I was like, all right, I can kind of see that. But it started to become a big gap, big difference. You know, now they're starting to even out the prices to more like a squad is this much. That's just what it's going to be. Especially if they're newer molds, that's just what it's going to be. Excuse me, which I like that. All right, so this one has all the shoulder pads, all the little Chaos shoulder pads. Are very cool shoulder pads. We've got the legs leg sections, front and rear, or left and right. Got a nice chain sword there, bolt pistol, and looks like maybe a champion's stuff. Some weapons and more shoulder pads. Very cool. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19 shoulder pads. That's, there's got to be more. $21 shoulder pads. Let me make sure these other guys don't have any shoulder pads. I think the champion doesn't have special shoulder pads, or maybe he does. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. Well, there's 21 shoulder pads, it looks like, or 22, 21. Yeah, there's looks like a champion one right there. So you're getting, you know, enough to make the squad, which is good. Nothing too extra, which is cool. That's whatever it is. To be honest, I got a huge Ziploc bag, like a gallon bag of fucking Chaos bits, and I have a huge gallon bag of Tyranid bits and Orc bits, and you know, it piles up. I have tons of bits, and you'll have them too. But you know what? Don't throw them out, because you could always use them to decorate bases, or you know, you could get extra bits from online and create new models and stuff like that. So don't toss them out. So it's not bad. This is a very interesting set. It's very detailed, very, very, very well detailed, and it's like I said, the sprue itself is packed with bits. It's packed with it. You're gonna have tons of leftovers, of course, you know. And the biggest concern you're gonna have is making sure when you go in your bits bin to find the right arms to go together, right? Like the right left arm and the right arm to hold a weapon, right? Because otherwise you're going to get them all mixed matched, and that's usually what I wind up doing, because you throw everything in a bit bin and then you wind up like, shit, what arm goes with what? So, you know, just to save space. But there you go. These are the Warhammer 40k Chaos Space Marines, new Chaos Space Marines box set. We feature the Black Legion on the front, and then on the back we've got, you know, Black Legion, Night Lords, Word Bearers, Alpha Legion, and Iron Warriors. Just some of the few chapters you could make, or Renegade chapters you can make for them. But it's a cool box. You know, I think it's definitely worth more than what the original box was. Not just in price, but in value of what you get and what you can do with these models, and just the look of them. They're going to be a pain in the ass to paint, but that's what I wanted. I wanted, you know, really decorative, unique looking Space Marine models, not a Space Marine guy with a couple little spikies and okay, he's Chaos. No, this is what they should look like. So I'm pretty pleased with it. I don't regret the purchase. I do think that $50 was a little high, but that's 5 Terminators, you know, $10 a model. That's what this squad is equivalent to. So, you know, we'll see. I might get the new Terminators. I don't know. I don't really feel like I need more Terminators because I have so many in the other units. You know, in every single other, the Crimson, you know, the Crimson Sabers and Thousand Suns and Death Guard, I have a ton of, you know, Terminators. So I don't know if another squad of Terminators is going to break a difference, but we'll see. I might get them just because they're super new, but they don't look new enough to me like these guys do. So I don't know. I'm on the fence with those guys. But I definitely want a Lord Discordant, and I definitely want Abaddon. I definitely want Fabius Bile, and I'm really on the fence about building anything Slanesh. So I have no Noise Marines or anything like that yet, but that would be the last faction I build. If I build anything else for this Chaos army, it will be the Thousands, or the Noise Marines, just to have that final patrons representation. So stick with it, or stick with me rather, sorry. You know, keep tuned, because you never know. You know, I might just fold and pick that stuff up like a crazy man. But there you go. I think it's a good box. I think if you're building Chaos, if you're just starting, man, you're coming into a good time for Warhammer 40k and Chaos. And if you're old school like me and you have a ton of shit from the back in the day, hey, you know what? Rebase or don't. Just use what you got, man. And you want to add some new dudes to your guys? Boom. You know, there you go. They could be like, you know, you could add these to your old school Chaos army and call them, you know, the Chosen. You know what I mean? Because they look different. They look exalt, you know, whatever. And give them whatever you want, weapon-wise. All right, guys. As always, you know, I appreciate you guys watching and supporting my channel. If you can, if you wish to support financially, I'll leave a link to my PayPal in the description below. And please feel free. I appreciate any donation. Also, like, share, subscribe. You know, it always helps. I know it's supposed to boost something. I'm not sure what it does, but I know it boosts something. So, or just share it with your friends, man. Anybody you think is on the fence about 40k or you think might be interested, let them know I'm here. You know what I mean? And you know, also send me messages or comments. You know, messages on my Facebook page, Zero's Hobbies, or comments here, or even on Instagram. Send me a message. You know, if there's something you want to take a look at, you know, an unboxing of something, or my opinion on something. If you guys just want to argue, you know, or just, hey, you know, as long as we keep it clean, man, I'm okay debating. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching.